everyone, welcome back to KC3D Sparks. Today we are going to be modeling an alchemy table similar to the ones that you would have seen in Skyrim. Basically, I have some reference images here in case if you are either unfamiliar or just need a refresher on what the table looks like. I just have 3 samples here. We are going to create the actual stone table. It has very sturdy leg with a little shelf, but we are not going to create the actual bottles on top. That might be something I'll add later with like some glass beads and some metal pieces or something like that, but I will add in the actual etching as well. So we'll model the standard table first with some of the lines for the indentation around the table, but then we will model these symbols separately and then boolean them together. With that said, let's go ahead and get into Blender. So basically I have my scene here set to inches. Of course, you know, work with whatever you're comfortable with, and then I set my grid floor scale to 1/4 of an inch. I am going to go ahead and delete the cube and add in a circle. So with this circle, I'm going to go ahead and take that down to 12 just so I can have a basic geometry mesh and then add in the subdivision surface modifier later. 6 inches is a little large for what I want though. I do want it sized pretty decently, so maybe a little bit larger than an inch. I would say maybe 1.5 inches. Let's do that. Sounds good. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna do 1 1/4. Perfect. Okay. Let's do 1 1/4. So I don't really need this menu anymore. So I'm going to hit N to hide that and go into edit mode. So I'm going to go into top view again, deselect everything with A, and then hit B, select those and delete those vertices. Modifier tab and do mirror. Make sure you turn clipping on. And we'll also just go ahead and while we're here, add the subdivision surface modifier and crank that up a little bit. Not that it really matters at the moment. Okay, go ahead, select everything. Going into front view, get out of that, hit 5, E to extrude and drag that down a little bit. Maybe about there. This one we're just kind of eyeball. Of course, you want it to be a little bit thick. I mean, it is a stone table, so it can be pretty large. I think maybe there, maybe a little bit bigger. Totally personal preference. And then what we'll do now is go ahead and get the shelf out of the way. So what we'll do is deselect everything and then we're going to grab these, E to extrude, and then size it in every which way except for the Z axis. So we'll hit Shift Z for that. And then we'll just have to fix that up a little bit. And then our shelves are only going to be on one side. So we'll do the mirror modifier first for the rest of the table, apply it, and then we'll add our shelves afterward. So let's leave that for now. I think that shelf looks good. And then what we'll do is hit E to extrude, size that in, pull that. Actually, we don't need the top yet. All we need is the bottom. So we're going to hit Alt or Control 7 to see the bottom. Alt click the ring here. Alt 7. We're going to E to extrude and just size that in a little bit. And this is kind of where we're going to go ahead and start planning how we want the vertices lined up for the table legs. So when we're looking at the images, there is pretty much a straight little clearance there, the main table legs, and then 2 side pieces. Pretty simple. I'm assuming the backs of the legs go all the way through, so what we'll do is kind of think about this. The side ones are a little bit back. They're kind of here. So we'll go ahead and add a loop there. And then we're just going to size them along the y-axis to make them straight. We're going to line that up. Okay, and since we have the mirror modifier on, it'll automatically do that to the other side. And then the other leg is pretty much just straight on back. So go ahead, try to make it same size. So add this one here. So that'll be the gap in the center. And then that one right in the middle. Grab these 2, size along the y-axis to make it flat. And pull it back. Just eyeballing it here a little bit. So that should be lined up pretty good. So then we'll just go ahead and add in these faces. Okay, so now all we have to do is grab these vertices and we can go into the front view, E to extrude, and draw them down. So we do have our grid set up so that they're 1/4 of an inch. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 is 1 inch. I don't want the table to be 1 inch tall, so I might make them a little bit shorter, probably drag them up to here. Shift E because we do want them to be completely flat. And we'll also grab all of these and Shift E those as well. And actually need that sharpened as well. Perfect. Okay, so the only thing we need to fix the table legs is we want these to be sized up. So size it. Actually, they don't all increase. It's just the one edge that goes out. So what we'll do instead is grab these two vertices, and these two, and we can put our cursor to the center. I don't know if that'll work actually. Kind of work. We just have to draw those back in. Now we'll go ahead and fix the top. We're just going to hit E to extrude, size that in, and then hit Alt M at center. Whoops, there we go. And we'll also want to grab this, Shift E. We need this, Shift E. Make sure these are all nice and sharp. And then we're going to go ahead and add in 6 loops here. Go into the front view. We're going to grab these 3, draw them down a little bit, maybe about there. And then do the same thing with these 3. And then just grab those. Actually, first we'll probably want to go ahead, tab out of this. Why does this look weird? Shift G, so we have a duplicate. Hide the first one, go into here. We do want to go ahead and unsharpen a few of these edges because they're messing up the table. There we go. Okay, that's fixed. Tab out, we're going to apply our mirror modifier. And then we can go ahead and grab these 2 and size them in to give us that detail, and we'll want to go ahead and sharpen these. Awesome. That looks pretty good. Now that that is all set up, we can go ahead and add our little shelf here. So there's 3 little pillars, or whatever you want to call them. Columns? Yeah. 3 columns that hold it up. So go ahead, add the columns first, and then once we extrude them up out of the table, we can just bridge together the shelf. It's a little bit over here, and then it comes up to about the center. Not quite, it's a little bit before the center, so we can use this line here, add a loop there, so we'll use that one, and we'll add 2 loops here. This is a little bit too large though, so what we'll want to do is, whoops, edge slide, move that in, edge slide, move that in to make them all about the same size. So now we can just grab those 3 faces, E to extrude, draw that up. Oh, there, looks good. Again, I'm just eyeballing this. Awesome. So now I'm just going to grab, whoops, these again. E to extrude. I think I want the shelf to be maybe about that thick. and we can bridge them. So grab that face and this one. Bridge. So now that we have our table basically done, we can go ahead and start creating the etching that's on the top. So I'm going to go ahead and hide the table, and we're going to start by doing another circle. But first, I actually went into Skyrim and took a screenshot of the etching top down, so that way it was easier to trace. So I'm going to go ahead and add an image over here. So all you have to get the menu back open is hit N, scroll down to background images, check the box, add image, and open. I just saved it to my desktop. And of course you can't see it when you first pull it up. So I want to model it from the top. So I'm just going to do top, and then we'll go ahead and fix the orientation. So rotation first, because I want to get this lined up. And then pull that over. So now we have our image all lined up. Let's hide that menu again. We're going to do Shift A, and we are actually going to start with a plane to trace it out. Go into wireframe view, tab into edit mode, and basically for this, you can start with wherever you're most comfortable. You could start in the center, or you could start, you know, with a circle and extrude everything in. Personally, I think I'm gonna try doing a cube and starting at one point and then extruding out and then making the circle last. So basically, I'm just going to select everything and size this down a lot. And you guys can follow along, but I am going to speed through this. If you You guys can feel free to follow along, but I am going to speed through this. So it should be pretty simple. It's basically just following the lines on here. And I am, once I get this set up, I'll probably add on a mirror modifier since it is the same on each side. So that way it'll take off half of the work. So I'm going to put this on the y-axis. We'll add a mirror modifier again, make sure I have that clipping on, and do Y. I think. Just kidding, still X. Okay. So all we have to do now is we went ahead, added our Boolean modifier, make sure it's set to difference, and then you'll set the object. I'm sorry, I didn't rename my objects this time. Oops, bad habit, I need to fix that. But then once we have that, we can verify it looks right by hiding the plane, and looks pretty good to me. So I'm going to go ahead and call that good and apply it. Perfect. And now that is ready to be printed. And of course, if you're interested, you could always try modeling the bottles and other things yourself if you're interested. If you have a better printer or something, it might work out for you. Don't forget to resize it. If your printer doesn't work in inches, resize it first. And then other than that, you should be good to go. If you guys have any questions, make sure to post them in the comments below. If you have any requests, again, post that in the comments below. I love requests. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and I will see you guys next week.